Thank you. Good evening, folks. This is Council President Stacy Kelly. Welcome to our Special Finance Committee meeting of August 27th at 6 p.m. or 6:02, I should say. We'll get started with some things I have here. First up, looks like a request from Dan Collins. This is related to the Skyview Drive Storm Sewer Outlet Improvement Project. A total of 4 bids were submitted. The lowest and best bid went to HSH Construction and Excavating in the amount of $97,314.80. This is on emergency. Is there any discussion, any comments from the committee members?
Madam President.
Go ahead, please.
I think that this project that's going on here right now will be good for the city, and I think a lot of people will be very happy with when the project is completed.
Thank you, Councilman Coolio. Dan Collins, do you have any comments?
Chairman Kelly?
Pardon me?
Chairman
Yes,
Kelly, this is Rick Delacola.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. It may be a good idea to put into the minutes the reason for the emergency.
Yes, I was going to have Dan Collins speak to this briefly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any comments from the rest of the council? Anyone from the administration? Dan Collins, did you want to speak to this at all?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Well, first off, yes, I'm very pleased that that we did receive 4 price quotes with the lowest and best bid coming in a little under $16,000, actually a little over $16,000 less than the engineer's opinion of probable cost. That's real good news. The reason for the emergency on this project is that we want to get this project done this construction season. And with contractors being as busy as they are, every contractor seems like no matter what trade they're in right now, are very, very busy. And they do have a slot to fit this in this year. So this has been an ongoing problem. It's not fixing itself. It's probably only getting worse with the erosion down the steep slope. Eventually, if this is left unattended, it possibly can start affecting the pavement on the cul-de-sac for Skyview Drive. So we want to get in there, as soon as possible, preferably this construction season. So that's why the request for emergency is being asked of you, Council. And that's basically what I have, unless you have any further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. I appreciate it. Are there any further questions from the committee? If not, I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve this for the agenda. Is there a second?
Martin, second.
All in favor?
Delacola, yes.
Martin, yes.
Stacy, yes. Okay, this is approved for the agenda. Okay, moving on. I have a change order here to appropriate an additional amount to Specialized Construction for repairs to Broadview Road northbound in the curb lane, and that would extend from East Pleasant Valley Road down 400 feet on Broadview Road on the south end. That's in the amount of $53,577.83, and this is on emergency as well. This change order is in addition to ordinance number 86-2019, which was passed by council on June 11th of 2019, and ordinance number 114-2019, passed by council on August 24th of 2019. Any questions on this from the committee?
Delacola?
Councilman Delacola?
Thank you. This is probably actually a question for the finance director. Given that this is a state route, can we anticipate any reimbursement back from the state of Ohio for this additional expense?
Hi, this is the Finance Director, Petruniak. I would defer to the engineer Collins on that to see if there's any grants out there.
Okay.
I don't have that answer.
It's just the fact that it's a state route, and I know in the past they picked up part of the expense of repaving, and I may be wrong on this, but it leads me to conclude that the state ought to be picking up some of this or reimbursing us, at least in part.
Yes, and we could potentially use our funds from the state highway fund as well.
Okay.
Whatever's available there. So that's always a possibility. I don't know where the initial expenditures are being paid out of. I'd have to do some research on that to backtrack.
Okay. And we know that it needs to be done because of the accelerated deterioration of that part of the road. That's the emergency reason? That's probably a question for the engineer as well.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, do you have any input on this, please?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Yeah, Engineer Collins here. Being a state route, yes, true. This area of the street, however, would be considered just routine maintenance, which the cities are responsible for. It's no different than, I don't want to use the term giant pothole, but in a sense, there's a series of buckling pavement, which are in a sense potholes that would make the municipality responsible for, routine maintenance on the street. If this was a major resurfacing project, then that's when the state would get involved. Not a bad idea maybe to at least reach out to them just to confirm that, but from my past experiences, what I just told you holds true. Okay, and the reason for the emergency is that, when I started out in this city about 5 years ago, I'd always come from North Royalton and drive down Broadview Road, and, having a cup of coffee in my hand while I'm driving would always spill, and right at that intersection there, and driving in the curb lane there, heading northbound towards City Hall, and it's just gotten worse and worse over time. And, now with perhaps, I shouldn't even bring it in, but I mean, we've had some construction equipment from the Myers project driving on that. They didn't cause it. It's already been damaged, from the past, buckling pavement. But it just seems like this year, maybe last year, is when it really worsened. And it has a lot to do with the too, and not just the truck traffic itself. But we want to get this paved, obviously, this year. We're still under contract with Specialized Construction. They gave us a very, very competitive price to get this done. They can get this in after the Meyer Heavy Equipment is done with their project, which will be probably around mid to late October. Just so also, if anybody didn't know, Myers is planning to surface their entire parking lot by mid-October. So the timing on this is going to be really nice. Not that it would be a big deal if, we resurfaced that little section and, equipment was, loaded trucks were driving on that. I mean, after all this, the pavement's designed to handle that. This pavement in this area just weakened up and it's buckled. But I saw, about the Myers parking lot too. So the timing of this is going to be great to get this done this paving season. Okay, and the service director maybe can also reiterate too, but we've had quite a few phone calls on this, and one specifically was from a motorcyclist, and he reported that he almost wiped out on his bike. I think it was in the evening hours, and maybe didn't realize that paving was that bad. And if any of you had driven there recently, you would know what we mean on that. So I hope that answers everyone's questions. Thank you.
I just have one follow-up. I think I heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a section of Broadview Road entirely north of Pleasant Valley, nothing south of Pleasant Valley. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Engineer Collins here. No, it's actually south of East Pleasant Valley Road.
Ah, okay. All right.
It's 400 feet beginning at that intersection. It's the curb lane, the far east lane, starting at that intersection, heading south.
Yeah, I don't have any of the paperwork in front of me. I'm going to have to recuse on this one. I'm a part owner of a commercial building right there, so I'm going to recuse.
Okay. Any
Madam
further
President,
questions?
Madam President, this is Mayor Biassiano.
Mayor Biassiata, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President Kelly. I just want to reiterate, we're doing this as a safety issue. The grooves are very deep, several inches. It's probably about 4 or 5 years in from when they first started. It's on the RTA route, and it's pretty much, the grooves are getting deeper. I, too, have been the recipient of motorcycle complaints, and for these reasons, I believe we needed to take quick action on this because it's a safety issue. It's also a problem with our plow drivers because they're not plowing on flat pavement. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions from the committee? From council? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve this for the agenda.
Martin, second.
All in favor?
Martin, yes.
Delacola, recuse.
Recusal noted. Kelly, yes. This is approved for the agenda on emergency. Okay, and lastly, I have, it looks like, let me see here, an ordinance request for the issuance and sale of notes related to the Hemlock Creek project in the amount of $3,775,000. The Hemlock Creek renewal matures on November 5th of 2020, so an emergency measure is required. Any discussion on this? Committee members? Administration?
Chairperson Kelly? Yes, thank you. I just want to reiterate, this is for the renewal for the Hemlock Creek project. As you mentioned, the current notes come due November 5th. Therefore, the legislation passed as soon as possible in order to get the process started to issue this renewal. So I appreciate you having it on the agenda tonight.
EUs that are region really close to area is grassy and water.
I'm sorry, it's difficult to hear you, Director.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of feedback there too. I didn't, but these are. I don't know if that's me or not. But this is for the renewal for the notes for the Hemlock Creek project. That the current notes mature on November 5th. On November 5th. So this legislation gets the process started, and I'd like to introduce the city's municipal advisor, Matt Stuzinski from MAS Financial Advisory Services. Matt, if you're welcome to chime in if you like, or if there's any questions from the committee for any one of us, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Welcome, Mr. Stuzinski. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Madam President. Appreciate your inviting me to the meeting tonight. I'll just say this: this renewal is designed to carry us into next year with the goal of, in 2021, finalizing all costs of issuance. Finalize all costs of construction, all costs associated with the assessment. Provide then a 90-day window of opportunity for the residents to pay for their assessment if they choose to at that time, and but remains outstanding by way of the project costs once residents have made their cash payments will go into a 20-year bond issue, likely in August of 2021, with the goal of then certifying the assessment in September of 2021 for first collection from the residents who don't pay in cash in 2022. That would conclude my remarks.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Stuzinski? Any further questions from the committee? Any questions from council? Okay, if no questions, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the renewal on the Hemlock Creek project.
Delacuilla, second.
All in favor?
Delacuilla, aye. Martin, yes.
Kelly, aye. It's approved for the agenda. Thank you all. I have, excuse me, I have nothing further for the Special Finance Committee meeting. Are there any comments or concerns from other committee members? Any comments from council members? Any comments from members of the administration? Okay. If there's no further comments, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the Special Finance Committee meeting at 6:18 p.m.
Delacuilla, second.
Roll call, please.
Delacuilla, yes. Martin, yes.
Kelly, yes. Okay, we are adjourned at 6:18 p.m. We'll move on to our special council meeting.